Hello everyone, and welcome to JB's Top 3. The main topic of today's show, we're talking about the top 3 underrated matches in WrestleMania history. Now, WrestleMania has had some of the greatest matches of all time in regards to Steamboat versus Savage, Undertaker versus HBK, Bret Hart versus Stone Cold versus The Rock, and so on. But there are other great matches that don't get the recognition that they deserve. So today, I'll give you my top 3. My top 3 that deserves more recognition and should be talked about more because they were great matches. And if you go on other websites, they have these matches listed as some of the greatest WrestleMania matches ever. But they just not talked about like the other matches are. Now, underrated WrestleMania match number 3 is...
Number 3.
So yes, number 3, the Macho King Randy Savage versus the Ultimate Warrior. And this doesn't just have one storyline in it, it has a couple. So, as you all know, after WrestleMania 5, you pretty much did not see Miss Elizabeth with the Macho Man anymore. Macho Man then aligned himself with Sensational Sherry. The Ultimate Warrior became the WWF champion at WrestleMania 6, defeating Hulk Hogan. Macho Man lost the match to Dusty Rhodes. Within this time frame from WrestleMania 6 to WrestleMania 7, there were times when the Macho Man would challenge the Ultimate Warrior for the WWF Championship, and the Ultimate Warrior would say no. Royal Rumble, leading up to WrestleMania 7, the Royal Rumble, the Macho Man attacked the Ultimate Warrior. Not once, twice, and costed him his WWF Championship. Sergeant Slaughter was the new world champion. The Ultimate Warrior then challenges Macho Man to a career versus career match at WrestleMania 7. The Macho Man agrees. Before the match starts off, Miss Elizabeth is spotted in the crowd. The Macho King and Queen Sherry comes out. The Ultimate Warrior comes out, but he doesn't run to the ring. He walks. We have never seen the Ultimate Warrior walk to a ring. That was a first. But from when the bell sounded, we had action from beginning to end non-stop. And I mean non-stop. And what you could ask for in a match, they gave it to us. It had everything from wrestling to spots to outside the ring. Even interference from Queen Sherry. Objects being used. This match had everything. And then the drama would just grow. It would grow. The Macho Man hit the Ultimate Warrior with 5 flying elbow drops in a row. And the Ultimate Warrior kicked out at 2. Who does that? Who does that? Like, are you serious? 5 in a row. And I'm not saying flying elbow drop, pinfall, flying elbow drop, pinfall, and so on. I'm actually saying 5 in a row. And the Warrior kicks out at 2. The drama increases. Ultimate Warrior hits his flying splash on Macho King. Macho King kicks out. Warrior doesn't know what to do. He's trying to talk to his hands and the spirits or whatever he's talking to. Help me out. Figure it out. Hits Macho Man with 3 flying shoulders and gets the 1, 2, 3. After that, Queen Sherry comes to the ring and she attacks the Macho King. Miss Elizabeth comes running to the ring and she throws Queen Sherry out. Macho Man gets up. He's trying to figure out what happened. He sees Miss Elizabeth. He sees Queen Sherry, and it hits him. Who attacks him? He hugs Miss Elizabeth, puts her on his shoulders. The crowd goes nuts. People in the crowd are crying. This was a story 2 years in the making. The reunion of Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. The perfect way to send the Macho Man out due to him losing and cannot wrestle anymore. It was the best thing to do. They sent him out with Elizabeth. It was a perfect story. Macho Man did not stay in retirement long. Let's get that straight. But that was the perfect way to send him out, to have everybody thinking that that was his last match. But this match needs to be mentioned with the greatest matches of WrestleMania history.
Number 2.
Yes, the WrestleMania 22 match between Edge and Mick Foley. How is this not talked about more? I don't even know. But let's get into the details of it. At No Way Out 2006, Edge won the WWE Championship. 3 weeks later, lost it to John Cena. The special guest referee in that match was Mick Foley. Edge blamed Mick Foley for the loss, and then he and Lita attacked him. Edge would then challenge Mick Foley to a WrestleMania match, saying he never had a defining moment. Mick Foley says no, but let's make it a hardcore match. Edge agrees. It was hardcore from beginning to end. Edge starts the match off swinging a baseball bat. And then you got Edge taking bacon pans and street signs, hitting Mick Foley with it. Edge spears Mick Foley and he's hurt. Mick Foley had barbed wire taped around his waist that we all didn't see and didn't know. And then he starts whipping Edge with the barbed wire. And then you got a baseball bat with barbed wire being used. It was just so much non-stop. Then don't forget the tax. The tax that he threw Edge on. Come on. Both these guys was bloodied. And then the end of the match is something that we wouldn't have expected. Not at a WrestleMania, and probably not even most of any pay-per-views that they have. Who would expect somebody to light a table on fire and then for two people to go through a table on fire? Are you serious? That match there stole the show. Plain and simple. Best match of WrestleMania 22. Stole the show. Edge leaves still selling injuries, shaking. Mick Foley leaves. The hardcore legend he is. Has his hand up in the air, smiling. Both guys are bloody. Even Lita was bloody from the mandible claw she got with the barbed wire around Mick Foley's hand. This match is number 2.
Number 1.
Yes, the number 1 underrated WrestleMania match of all time is Kurt Angle versus HBK. You cannot sit here and say that these two guys were at the top of their game or they were not two of the best in 2005. In my opinion, at that time, Kurt Angle was the best. To me, nobody could top or touch Kurt Angle around that time. But HBK was right there next to him, hands down. And you can put HBK up against anybody. There's a reason why they say he's the greatest. He's Mr. WrestleMania. Excuse me. He's the icon. He's the greatest in-ring performer of all time. All those accolades were earned. Do you understand me? Earned. So, if somebody come to me and say, man, Kurt Angle is not better than Shawn Michaels, I'm not even going to argue. I'm not. But, with that being said, this feud started in the Royal Rumble in 2005. HBK eliminated Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle went back in there and eliminated Shawn Michaels. So then that brings about Kurt wrestling Marty Jannetty one time, and then Kurt doing the sexy Kurt to Shawn Michaels theme music, and he had Sensational Sherry with him. And then that leads to the match at WrestleMania 21 in Los Angeles. And anybody would know when you got these two athletes and the type of caliber athletes they are, they were going to put on a great wrestling match. It was pretty much the only match I was looking forward to be honest with you, at WrestleMania 21. Because to me, it's two of the greatest. And Jim Ross says it while they're performing. They're wrestling. These are two future Hall of Famers. And that match there, come on, man. It's one of the best ever. I read on the website that they have that as the third best WrestleMania match of all time. Of all time. But this match doesn't get talked about. When people mention the greatest matches, they do not mention this match. The first 5-6 minutes was just a straight wrestling match. And pretty much Kurt was letting Shawn display his wrestling in the ring. Now, I think we all knew Shawn can wrestle, but seeing what he did in that ring, come on, man. Give credit where credit is due. And then it picked up from there. You know, Kurt trying to German suplex Shawn off the apron to the table. That didn't happen. Shawn springboards himself off the middle rope onto Kurt. That was when Kurt was laying on the table. And the table didn't even break. Oh, man. How many Sweet Chin Music did Kurt Angle block? I mean, come on. How many Angle slams did Shawn Michaels get out of? Come on. Shawn Michaels kicked out of 2 Angle slams. Shawn Michaels escaped out of 2 ankle locks. And at the very end, Shawn kicks Kurt with the Sweet Chin Music. Covers in 1-2. Shawn gets up hurt, shaking. Kurt grabs the ankle and has Shawn Michaels in an ankle lock for about a good 3 minutes. And it's one of the best times that Shawn Michaels can sell anything. Let's get that straight. Don't act like, oh, you talking about Shawn only sold one move ever in his career. No, Shawn can sell anything. Anything. But how he sold the ankle lock at the end of that match for about a good 2, maybe 3 minutes. I could be over exaggerating. It could be a minute and 30 seconds. I don't know. But the way he sold it, it had us believing he was really hurt and he was in pain for a long time. He eventually tapped out. But that match there needs to be talked about with the greatest. All 3 of these matches. But this one here, HBK versus Kurt Angle, needs to be talked about more than the one I had at number 2 and the one I had at number 3. That was a WrestleMania moment for both those guys. They put on a hell of a match. It's one of the best matches ever. I would talk about it as one of my greatest matches ever that I ever seen for WrestleMania. So, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. The next time we do this be next week. We will talk about the top 3 most electrifying matches ever at WrestleMania. Electrifying. And we're talking about the crowd going nuts from beginning to end. It deals with the crowd. I'm your boy JB. Until next time.